So in the past few years, we've gone through kind of a reshaping where we're selling off some of the smaller, older assets that we don't want to keep, that don't fit going forward. And when we're reinvesting into larger, bigger markets, and we are willing to take that risk, but we want to make sure that we're going, kind of a calculated risk where we know that there's, a good chance that we're going to be able to outperform the market. And a lot of times it's a market that we've already been in or are in currently, and so that kind of helps bring our risk profile down a little bit, knowing what's in that market.
Risk is a tough word in my opinion, but we always look at the opportunities that allow you to enhance your portfolio. Key to us is the right partners, right location. We spent on an average $100+ million on an annual basis in renovating our own hotels too. So continuous investment in your portfolio is essential for your continued success.
Risk right now, we don't think there's a lot of risk that is required in looking at portfolios. It's a very good time in the market to be acquiring assets, and with the risks there come commensurate rewards and returns, but right now we believe there's a long lead time opportunities for growth and really don't need to take high risks to reach very strong returns.
Coming from a family office setting, I think we're not as risk averse as we would like to tell ourselves, but I think our background is more industry agnostic, so we feel hospitality real estate, with being a cyclical business, we're not as risky as we would like to be. We're trying to keep the leverage rates close to 60–65%, and when we go into certain markets, we try to be extremely disciplined with our underwriting. Because of our hold periods being longer, so we don't have those kinds of pressures.
Me personally, not very much. I'm too old to take risk, but or development risk in particular. I think it's a question of where you are in the cycle, or where you think we are in the cycle. I would be reluctant at this stage to do a lot of wholesale new build development work, simply because if history is any teacher, and usually in our business it is, sometime in the next 3–4 years, we'll find ourselves headed on the downside of the cycle. And if you started a development project tomorrow, you're probably looking at not being in the ground for a year to a year and a half anyway. And so, 3 or 4 years from now is when the project will either be opening or starting to try to stabilize, and that might be the wrong moment in history to be there.
Right now, the best way to say is any risk we're taking is obviously mitigated by returns coming back in on the investment. We're trying to balance it out with staying within our core value of the select mid-scale hotels, but we're venturing into independents. We just acquired 2, and seeing both of them in university markets with a huge upside potential in it, and not branding them, but potentially looking at rebranding, or not rebranding them, but branding them into maybe a Curio or an Autograph, depending upon how it works out.
Well, we're in a business that requires risk-adjusted return. So you're in a business that you take risk, but what you have to do is make sure that your risks are market risk, that are those areas that you can't control. What we're not willing to do is take execution risk. So if we don't think that we can execute effectively on any transaction, we'll pass on that transaction. We know we can't control everything, but we know that this business is a business that has inherent risks to it. We accept those risks, and I think we're thoughtful about our approach to it, because we owe it to our investors and to our associates who have to execute these strategies to make sure that they can do it effectively. But we also know that we're in a business that requires that you take some risk, and we're comfortable with that as long as we've done the underwriting and the work we need to do up front to understand what we think those risks are going to be as we take on a new asset.